Condor Cliff is situated in the southern part of Patagonia. It is a steep cliff where condors from 100 miles gather for the night. With nothing disturbing them, more than 150 birds stay the night on the steep mountainside. The condor belongs to the vulture species of the New World. They can be found in the Andes and along the coast of the South Pacific. The condor is the biggest flying bird in the world and has a wingspan that reaches more than 3 meters. It can weigh up to 15 kilos. The condor is predominantly a scavenger, living on dead animals. In the inland it prefers cadaver of livestock. Along the coast, the diet often consists cadavers of marine species washed ashore. The condor does not eat regularly like every day. When several days passes between the meals, the condor sometimes eats so much it can hardly take off. The condors use their excellent eyesight to locate the fodder. Sometimes they spot flocks of smaller vultures and cowbirds, not capable to tear the skin of the carrion. Some of them find their food with their olfactory sense. They smell the gas arising from a dead animal at an early stage of the degradation process. Above all, there is a symbiotic relationship between the condor and the caracara. This falcon feeds on carrion and helps the condor to find the carcass. When the number of condors increases, so does the number of caracaras. Around the millennium 1900, the sheep farmers had nearly exterminated the caracara. The falcon killing the lambkins was a threat to their sheep breeding. The estancia, or farm, is exclusively used for cattle breeding and dairying. The estancias are big and sparsely located in Patagonia. The Iguazu, like a North American cowboy, works on the estancia watching over the livestock. The extensive breeding of sheep and cattle leaves many dead animals behind, eagerly awaited feed for the condor. Without domestic cattle, the Patagonian vultures would have great difficulties to survive. The condor needs to eat half a kilo of meat daily. In Chile alone, there are today 17,000 condors. In its flight, the condor moves gracefully in big circles. Its sail glides with its wings horizontally out from its body and the wing end feathers bent upwards. The lack of a breastbone anchoring the corresponding big chest muscles indicates that the condor principally is adapted for gliding flight. The condor works hard with its wings to take off from the ground, but in the air the bird relies upon thermals and upwinds. It prefers to rest on rock ledges, so it doesn't have to flap the wings to take off. The condor needs strong winds to carry its heavy body. In light winds, with its craw overfull, the condor wouldn't get enough wind under the wings to take off, and so it was an easy catch for the hunters. In old literature, one can find pictures of Iguazus catching full condors with their lassos. In the night, when the condor rests on a rock ledge, it reduces its body temperature several degrees in order to save energy. In the morning it spreads its wings in order to raise the body temperature quickly. It flaps to stretch the wings and wing pens, preparing for the day's flight. The condor has no vocal organ like other birds and can only produce occasional hissing and gurgling sounds. It takes 5 to 6 years for a condor to be sexually mature. It can become 50 years old. The relationship between partners is lifelong, and there is a high developed social structure in a family group. When they compete for fodder, the order of precedence is settled by using intensive body language. The condor prefers to breed on heights between 3,000 to 4,000 meters. The nest is placed on an inaccessible rock ledge. It consists of some branches placed around the eggs. 1 to 2 eggs is laid in February, March, every other year. The young birds are covered in greyish down until they are nearly as big as their parents. They are fully fledged after roughly 6 months, but they still rest and hunt with their parents until their 2nd year of life. The condor has no natural enemies except for human beings. It is adapted to low mortality and has a slow reproduction frequency, and so it is mostly affected by hunt and pursuit. The biggest threats today are lack of living space and toxic substances injurious to the environment. But today's awareness of environmental influence has resulted in extensive breeding projects which leaves Chile today with 17,000 condors, as mentioned earlier. The condor is the national symbol for Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador and Peru. It used to play an important part in the mythology of the religions in the Andes. The condor was a symbol for the sun god, the ruler of the skies. The condor was held for strength and health. Its bones and organs were said to possess medical capacities. And so the bird was hunted to yield its feathers, bones and organs. The condor has given inspiration to ritual, dances and music. El Condor pasa, the condor passes, is a traditional piece of music taken down from the Middle Ages. Today it has become the symbol of music from the Andes. The flamingo occurs naturally in small salt lakes in the Andes and on the Pampas. They generally stay in regions between 3,500 to 4,500 meters above the sea level. To find their nourishment, they filter the water with the lamels in their lower jaw to gather Artemia plankton. The second longest river in South America, the Parana, starts as a rill in the Brazilian highlands. It then joins with Rio Grande on its long run to the Iguazu falls. The Great Falls on the border between Brazil and Argentina consists of 160 to 260 waterfalls of varying magnitude depending on the water level. The average flow of water is 1,500 cubic meters per second. The falls emerge from the flow of the Rio de la Plata. During the rain period, a 3 kilometer long and 70 meters high fall is produced. Today, the falls forms a national boundary between the three countries Argentina, Brazil and Paraguay. The highest fall, the Devil's Fall, has a drop of 86 meters and creates a constant haze over the region. With its length of 3 kilometers, the falls are considered to be the widest in the world. In the federal state of Parana, by the Iguazu Falls, a national park was established in 1939. It is today a World Heritage. The climate is humid and subtropical. The region has a great variety of species, insects, mammals and birds. Here lives the hummingbird. It is a very small sailing bird, which appears in large numbers both in species and individuals. The smallest one is 5 centimeters long and weighs only 1.8 grams. The hummingbird lives mostly of nectars. Every day it eats 8 times its own weight. It has an extremely high metabolism. That's why many species at night lower their body temperature from 45 to 35 degrees to save energy. The exquisite plumage consists of 1,000 silvery shining feathers. The aeronautical technique is unique. Performing 300 wing strokes per second, it resembles more the flying ability of an insect than that of a bird's. Forwards, up and down, and it is the only bird in the world able to fly backwards. The hummingbird is the smallest of all flying birds in the world.